Good afternoon. It's it's a beautiful Sunday here in Ventura. I hope it's a beautiful Sunday where you are as well. It's one of those picture book days. You know, the sky's blue, the clouds are out over the ocean, but it's clear here. There's just a tiny bit of a breeze. It's lovely. It's a good day to be here. It's one of those days when people in the Midwest watch what's going on in California and say, might not be bad to move there, Howard. Might be a good idea. Um, like it always is on Rose Parade Day, it could be raining for weeks ahead of time and it may rain and flood for weeks afterwards, but the day of the Rose Parade, it's picture perfect. And the whole Midwest and East Coast thinks California may not be so bad, except for that shaky ground they live on. Um, so here we are on a perfect California day, and I'm happy to be with you. I'm just happy to be here. Hi, Dana. Hi, Heidi. Hello, everyone. It's a good day to be alive, isn't it? What's the old thing? Any day above ground is a good day. Well, here we are, and it is, in fact, a really perfect and lovely day. So, welcome to Facebook Live at noon on Sunday, and happy to have you all here. Hi, Brenda. Fantastic Sunday back to you, my dear. And Laura, good afternoon. How nice. Yay. The gang's here. I love it when the gang's here. Makes me happy. It's like the family coming home for Thanksgiving without all the cooking ahead of time and without the uncle who drinks too much and wants to smoke cigars. You know, it's all the good stuff and none of the bad stuff. So here we are, and happy to be here. Yup, Heidi says. Yup. So how have you been this week? How's it gone? How's it going? How's the week treating you? How's your life under the current normal? It changes day to day, doesn't it? It really changes day to day. What is acceptable and doable, and what's easy and what's not on any given day? Yeah. Okay, Heidi, you gonna tell us what it is? We're happy you're here to celebrate, but what's the personal goal? You gonna tell us? Or is it a secret? It could be a secret. It's all right. We can still celebrate with you. We don't have to know why. Any excuse to celebrate is my theory. Take advantage of them. Grab them while you can. Those reasons to celebrate and to be happy about life. You know, if it's only for an instant, if you look out the window and say, wow, it's pretty out there, that makes you feel good. And it's better than sitting inside in the dark, pouting and being unhappy. Don't you think? Do you think? When you think. When you think, life gets better. Thinking is a good thing. Let's see. I'm about 30 seconds, I think, ahead of you. So if I sometimes look like I'm stalling, I am. I am. I'm just trying to see what you're going to say. Oh, Heidi, fabulous. Fabulous. We can celebrate that with you anytime, sweetheart. Anytime. I like that wording, too. Shedding extra weight. Not losing it, because you don't lose it. If you lose it, you can find it again. I've done that more than once. But just shedding extra weight. Just it doesn't need to be here. Goodbye. I like that. Great way to word it. Good reason to celebrate. And we celebrate with you and for you and all of that. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. The talk this morning, I'm going to put a little, it may sound familiar. Disclaimer? Not really. I was looking through some old stuff the other day, clearing out desks and drawers a little bit. And I came across some notes from a talk that I gave, I don't know when, because it doesn't have a date on it. And I just felt like it needed to be done again today. And then, monkey mind. Monkey mind says, oh, but, what if people have heard it? Well, what if you have? There's only a couple of messages anyway. You just keep reworking them and putting them in different costumes so that maybe they'll get heard. And then I started working on something else, and it kept getting drawn back to today's talk. So, if it sounds familiar, you're not losing your mind. I'm repeating myself, as it were. I've made some changes. And you'll hear it differently because you can't step into the same river twice. You're in a different place. I'm in a different place. The talks are in a different place. Everything moves. I'm sorry, I'm getting Heidi's notes here and I just love it. Thank you, Dana. Heidi says, I've been blessing the weight and letting it go. Wow. Wow. What a great concept. I've never thought about that. So thank you. Thank you. I may use that myself. And I guess, maybe the thing, Heidi, is, you say you can use a refresher. Well, so can I. So can I. And there was something about looking at these notes, and I swear they talked to me. They just said, me, Sunday. And no matter how I tried to squirm around it, well, here it is. What can I tell you? We're going to use the notes and see what I say out of them, from them. They must have a gift in them. That's all I can figure. So they want to be heard again. Oh, Heidi, that's just beautiful. Thanking the weight for its protection and sending it on its way. I don't need you anymore to protect me. Go wherever you're supposed to be next. I love that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just all wrapped up in Heidi this morning and what she's doing and how she's thinking. Your thinking is beautiful. Beautiful. And thank you for sharing all of that with us. That's pretty powerful stuff. And clearly, since this whole conversation started with you saying that you reached a personal goal this morning, clearly it's working, and that makes it even better. Wow. I are impressed. I are. So, having said that, I think I'm just going to jump into these notes and see if you ultimately feel about them the way I do. So, allow me to start in 1926. There's a good place. I don't think any of us were around then. I know I wasn't. But in 1926, Ernest Hemingway published his first, and some critics argue his best, serious novel, The Sun Aso Rises. In it, Hemingway tells the tale of a group of American expatriates in Europe right after World War I. They are aimless and they are world-weary, and they spend most of their time drinking in sidewalk cafes. Well, that's not so terrible, is it? They're Hemingway's metaphor for society's lost innocence and optimism after the war. They have been described by critics as floundering in an emulsion of ennui and alcohol. They are the lost generation. When the book was first published, Time magazine's critic wrote, "The picture of cosmopolitan castaways going to prize fights, bars, bedrooms, and bull rings in France and Spain is excessively accurate, but not as trite as it might be, ultimately." The reader is very much inclined to echo a remark that is one of the novel's heroes, too many S's there, favorites, and presumably the author Hemingway as well. Oh, what the hell. At the opening of the book, its themes are illustrated with part of a quotation from Ecclesiastes. "One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh. But the earth abideth forever." If you want to check that one out, it's Ecclesiastes 1:4. Well, that's one story and one version of what war does to people, some people. Today I'd like to tell you a different story about another group of people and their response to the events of war. There is a cathedral in England at Coventry that was built upon the remains of a Benedictine community that was founded in 1043 by the Earl of Mercia and his wife, the Lady Godiva. The Earl and his infamous wife erected their work upon the foundations of a still earlier religious house for nuns that had been established sometime before the 10th century. On the night of November 14th, 1940, there was an air raid. Luftwaffe planes bombarded Coventry in what was called Operation Midnight Sonata. 568 people were killed that night. The city burned and the magnificent medieval cathedral burned with it. The next morning, devastated, the people surveyed the ruins. A stonemason picked up 2 roof timbers that had fallen across each other in the rubble and tied them together to form a cross, which he laid against the walls of the ruined sanctuary. At the same time, a local priest fashioned another cross from the medieval nails that littered the floor. The provost of the cathedral, in an act not of hate, but of faith and hope for the future, then inscribed the words, "Father, forgive," on the wall behind the timbered cross. The cross of nails was placed on a stone altar in the midst of the ruins, an altar constructed even in that devastating hour as a symbol of hope and reconciliation. Hate, bitterness, desperation could have prevailed. It would have been understandable. The very soul of the city had been savagely attacked. But because of the choices made by these 3 men and those who were inspired by their actions, hope replaced hate. Determination replaced desperation. Bitterness was overcome with a dedication to reconciliation and peace. And in those early hours, the determination to rebuild the cathedral was born. After the war, the Coventry Ministry of Reconciliation presented crosses fashioned from its medieval nails to Kiel, Dresden, and Berlin, German cities ruined by Allied bombs. And in the 21st century, the crosses represent an ongoing worldwide ministry of peace that has its heart in Coventry. Today, two structures stand in Coventry. The ruins of the old cathedral, the entry walls, the steeple and the bell tower, and alongside it, embracing the destruction, a magnificent new structure, a jewel filled with light and color, a tribute to faith resurrected. And in the cathedral guide are the words, "To the glory of God, this cathedral burnt." In that same booklet, the current provost has written this message: "To walk from the bombed ruins into the new cathedral is to walk from Good Friday to Easter, from death to new life, from the jagged reminder of man's inhumanity to the soaring architecture that lifts the heart. I hope that along with me you want to say, thank God." Back to Hemmingway for a moment, who begins his novel with an ancient and undeniable truth. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. And much of his story repeats that theme. But the title of the book contains a lesson for those who will pay attention, for it refers to the next line of the quotation. "The sun also rises, and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where he arose." And so the full quote is, "One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abides forever. And the sun also rises, and the sun goes down and hastens to the place where he arose." And we know, of course, to arise again, because the sun also rises. War happens, publicly and privately, and none of us can totally escape the effects of it. Or, Coventry reminds us, the opportunity to respond to them. In Hemingway's tale, the sun sets each day on the emptiness of the characters' lives. The ravages of war have taken a toll on their bodies, their minds, and their souls. And each day, when the sun rises, they survey the landscape, declare it lost, and make a choice to return each day to the place they occupied the night before, to their disappointment and discouragement, to their alcohol and ennui, to their own lostness. But in the second story, in the story of the cathedral, the night holds massive terror and devastation. And the characters arise to a landscape of ruins, destruction so complete that the Luftwaffe, you know who I mean, coined a word to describe the wholesale demolition of cities. Zu Coventry Rin. I'm sure I have mispronounced, but you get the idea, because it translates to coventrate, to do the same damage as was done in Coventry. The night had claimed most of Coventry's life. The cathedral, the city, 568 people dead, all in one night. But when the sun rose, the people made a choice. And they chose not the darkness of the previous night, but the hope of the new day. How easy, how human it would have been to choose hate and bitterness. No one would have blamed them. But it's not the choice they made. They made the choice to find the blessing, not the curse, in the events of the night before. And the choice they made all the difference. The difference in the stories is really simple and deeply inspirational. One cast of characters chooses to return to the night, to live their lives at the effect of the circumstances which surround them. The second cast of characters chooses the promise of the new day. And by that choice, they change not only the effect of the circumstances on their own lives, but they change the world for good. My question to you today is this. Given that the sun sets, for good or ill, blessing or curse, every day, and given that the sun also rises and returns to the place where it arose, what place are you returning to each day? What place in heart and mind are you rising to? Are you rising to the problems and the frustrations of yesterday? It would be only natural and only human. Or are you choosing to rise to the fresh possibilities and opportunities inherent in the new day? The sun sets. Yes. And it also rises every day. Every morning is alive with promise. And at the end of the day, the sun sets again. Some days it sets upon our joys, and some days upon our fears. Some days it sets upon the potential, the realization of our most cherished hopes and fondest dreams. And some days it takes the promise of those dreams with it when it sets. You see, it's not where the sun sets that can make the ultimate difference in the story of our lives, but that upon which we choose to have it rise. The book of Deuteronomy has God saying, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life. Choose the blessing, not the curse. The same message is repeated over and over in the closing verses of the 32nd chapter of Genesis Jacob is preparing for an encounter with his brother Esau. He sends his family ahead, but as the day draws to a close, he remains behind alone. During the night, a man wrestles with him, and the battle lasts until dawn. And Jacob is injured, but not defeated. As the sun rises, the being pleads with Jacob to release him. But Jacob says, "I will not let you go until you bless me." His opponent, a divine messenger, then bestows upon him the name Israel, because he says, "You have struggled with the divine and with men, and you have prevailed." Jacob chose the blessing, and because of it became the father of nations. We are not unlike Jacob, are we really? Have we not, each one of us, at some point in our lives, struggled with the divine and with men? And you have prevailed. You're here. Jacob chose the blessing. Do you? The people of Coventry chose the path of blessing, chose the life-affirming path of peace and reconciliation, instead of choosing the deafening path of bitterness and the curse of hatred. And they created from their choice not only an amazing and inspiring edifice that uplifts and transforms the individual heart, but they created as well a ministry that 3/4 of a century later continues to heal and transform the dark places of the world. To the glory of God, they say, this cathedral burnt. Not this cathedral was built, but to the glory of God, this cathedral burnt. And what good has come of that? I set before you blessing and curse, and they appear to be one and the same. They look alike. You choose what it is. We can wallow in self-pity. We can recount our wars and parade our battle scars in front of anyone who will listen. And there will always be those who will listen, or at least pretend to listen while they await the opportunity to retell the saga of their own tragedies. We can walk wounded and filled with bitterness through the world, assured that there will always be those who will absolutely affirm our God-given right to do so. We can take up arms against our enemies and carry on the fight for another day. Or we can simply homestead in the place we find ourselves and fuel our unhappiness from the embers of the remains of yesterday. Or we can choose to rise. We can choose to proclaim a new day. Is there such a difference, after all, between a cathedral and a life? Are they not both creations of the one? Are they not both reflections of the consciousness which built them? Are they not both more authentic when dedicated to the glory of God? Are they not? So we can choose. When the darkness descends, and in each life at some time it will, in those moments it often feels that we are indeed struggling with the divine. And we can choose then to be bitter or to hate. We can choose to cling to what was and to dedicate the rest of the experience of our life to that which, for good or ill, is gone. Are we to be the runes of someone else's aggression? Or perhaps the ruins of our own? Or in the midst of the debris of yesterday, can we find the timbers to rebuild our lives? We can build in what appear to be ruins an altar, not to the remains of the night, not to the demons of the darkness, but to the light that we have been promised and can be assured will always return. We never know what tomorrow will bring. Every day presents us with new opportunities and new challenges, blessing and curse. Every sunset is followed for a time by the darkness. And in that darkness, who knows, who can say what may come? Yet, regardless of that which may have happened in your life yesterday, or what may intrude upon your life today, or even that which may bombard you from out of the darkness, remember this. To you is always given the option to choose the greater life, the higher ground, to choose the blessing. The choice is yours. In your struggles with the divine and with men, may you always make the choice to prevail. And may your choice always lead to the glory of the magnificent Spirit within you. In the darkest night, hold on to the light. Reach for the dawn. My prayer for you today is this. When the sun sets upon your dreams, may the wisdom of your soul and the gift of grief guide you to the edge of your known world, to that horizon where heaven and earth meet. And may you discover there that though the sun may have set for now, you have been promised that the sun also rises. So, thank you for your patience. Thank you for allowing me to share these thoughts with you. Thank you. I hope they were as meaningful for you as they seem to be for me. So, here we are. Hold on, I need a sip of something cool. So, I hope that got you thinking. It certainly did for me about those things that I have labeled as destructive in my life, or those things that seemed like dreams denied. And I prefer now actually to think about the fact that God never, frankly, denies anything. I don't think that if that's true, then there's a lot of things in my life God should have denied and didn't. And we're going to have a talk. But what if? What if it's more like a dream deferred? Like you don't have all of the information, even though you may think you do. For that to be real in your life yet. And what if you and it need to change? Need to mature into the dream and then revisit it. What if? Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, Jefferson. My guys are showing up here. Yay, thank you. And if you missed any part of it, of course, you can always replay me. Isn't that great? I love that. I love that. If you feel like you wanted to revisit the beginning, you can just go back and push a button and I'm right back there for you. I love that. That just tickles me for some reason. I'm very fond of tech. I think tech, for the most part, makes our lives better. And I think when it seems like tech is getting in our way, it may be we who are getting in our way and misusing the blessing. I choose blessing, not curse. Robocalls, that's a whole different thing altogether. Although I get a lot of fun with robocalls in setting up call blocking. And I just get tickled when the phone rings at some weird time and it only rings once. And then the little readout says call blocked. And I think, oh, more tech. See, the tech's my friend. Love that. Love that. Love it when it works. Learn to love it when it doesn't appear to work and it may be doing more than you think it is. How's that for my second sermon for the day? We've got a few more minutes and I want to show you something. This is a book written by someone who has become a friend of Cax. And I don't remember how you, well, she wrote a poem, you liked it, wrote to her and asked if you could use it. Does that?
In my book.
In your book.
And she wrote the foreword to my book about fairies.
And she wrote the foreword to Cax's book about Carrie. So she has written a book. Her name is Annam Cara Cat. Let me say that right. Annam Cara Cat. Honest. The book is called Just Like You and Me, The ABCs of Empathy. Let's see. There we go. Just Like You and Me, The ABCs of Empathy. Okay? And what it says on the back is this picture book was written to honor animals and the people who respect their inherent right to live peacefully in the world. The similarities between humans and our animal friends serve as powerful reminders that we have a responsibility to act as honorable stewards over the most vulnerable beings on earth. Teaching our children to authentically embody empathy and justice is a priceless gift to them, the planet, and the animals. And each page is just wonderful. It's pictures of, I have to think backwards, pictures of animals that support whatever the letter is. And it's a whole alphabet book. A is animals are happy to be alive, just like you and me. B, animals begin life as babies, just like you and me. C, animals love to cuddle, just like you and me. And it goes on. Animals drink water. They grow up to look like their parents. Oh dear. They have friends and family. They are intelligent, just like you and me. Animals give hugs, just like you and me. Anyway, it's animals have mothers, just like you and me. I'm trying to see how I can best put this up here for you to see it, but I have to think backwards. Anyway, it's just the sweetest book. It is the sweetest book. And it's a great way to teach small children how to recognize the similarities between ourselves and the animal kingdom, or queendom, as I've got to show you this one. There we go. Animals have unique personalities. Can you see the pictures? Yes, I'm sure you can. Just like you and me. I just would recommend it to anyone who has small children in their family. If you're Christmas shopping, Kat, this is available, is it not, on Amazon?
I've just posted the link.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's just the sweetest little book, and if you've got small children on your Christmas list, this would be a great gift to them and to the planet and to the animals in their lives. Good, Kirk. Thank you. Thank you. It's precious. It's precious. And, if you want to throw a puppy in or sponsor a baby goat or something along with it, then that's up to you. But the book is truly a gift. And it's brand new. It's got a 2020 copyright date on it. So, just like you and me.
And she's a very special person.
Yeah, she's a terrific lady. I know her sort of vicariously, overhearing conversations, and I know what their connection has been. So it's a good book, comes from the heart of a good person, and I like to share things like that when they come into my awareness. So this has been sitting here for me to remember to show it to you. And now I've done that. So I'm happy. I hope you are too. And feel free when you order.
An insider tip, hot off the press.
It's an insider tip. Am I going to go to prison for that? Is that a federal offense?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Is it a cosmic offense? No, I don't think so.
No. No, because it's supportive and generous.
Yes. Of a good person and a good cause and a really good, make a difference in the world kind of product on a very simple way. Very simple way. So, Cat, do not say things, Kirk, like baby goats are adorable. Because we have a running argument in the house right now. Cat says she wants it. What's your list? It's a baby goat.
A goat, a rabbit, a chicken, there's 5.
A pig?
A pig.
A pig.
Yeah, a goat, a rabbit. Yeah. That's it.
That's only 4.
Oh, there was 5.
Goat, a rabbit, a Joe. Well, I'm not going to remember.
And a tiny horse.
A tiny
And a
horse.
mini horse. One of those mini.
One of those little guys.
Yeah. Dwarf midget horse.
If you could see the size of our house and the property, you'd know just. See, it doesn't help that when we were looking at this house, when we were looking to buy this house, they had
Goats and bunnies and
goats
dogs
and bunnies and
cats
chickens
and
and chickens.
Yeah. And
We had when we bought the house, we had a chicken coop up high, but the fire took care of that. And I had visions of being 95 years old and walking up that hill to feed the chickens, and I wasn't crazy about it. So I wasn't. Dana says you guys might have to move. No, do not encourage her. Do not encourage her. Do not do that. I am not Noah. I don't want to be Noah. One of everything is too much. Besides, is there a goat rescue? I shouldn't have said that.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah. Buy the book. Buy the book. The book is adorable, and I'm sure that there are pictures of baby goats. Yes, right on the cover. As a matter of fact, there is a baby goat and a baby pig and a puppy and a rooster. So, you don't have to buy the actual animal. You can just buy the book and point out the pictures. I'm going to try that myself this afternoon and see if it'll do me any good at all. I'm worried. Dana, stop it!
I'm on the adopt a baby goat side.
Heidi, I'm reading your. Heidi says, as we all know, this has been a challenging year. Oh, yes. Culminating in a joyous change for many. We are all taking a big sigh. Now what? Crazy as that seems, we have been focused on reaching this. I've been feeling a bit off kilter. Yeah. The trouble with reaching a goal or accomplishing a dream is that there's that huge now what at the end of it. You're still breathing, you're still alive, God's not finished with you yet, now what? We have work to do. I think we are allowed a little time to rest and renew, but probably not too long. Ernest Holmes said nature will not allow you to stay in one place for too long. My version of that is if you stay in one place too long, nature will kick you in the butt. He probably said something wonderful like, it will give you new opportunities. I think we're all awakened, really caring, to really paying attention. And I think some of us kind of feel like we dodged a bullet. So take a little bit of time and breathe and be grateful. And then just start looking around. There will be a now what? Now this. Dana, you are just stirring it up this morning, aren't you?
I can adopt Shania Twain, Reba McEntire, Winona Judd, Posey, and...
Why would all those country and western singers want you?
And Dolly Parton. I can adopt. Those are the ones on Adopt-A-Pet that are available in the Los Angeles area.
Dear God. Are they goats?
Goats.
They're goats, baby goats.
Yep.
Dana, shh.
I want Dolly Parton.
Oh. I was kind of leaning toward Dolly Parton myself. Yeah, Jennifer, I think you've got the right idea. And you know, we've been through a lot and there was a lot of struggle. And it's been all year. It's been all year. Not just the elections, but the pandemic. There's so much. Breathe. Take a little time to heal. Even winners need to heal. There are scars involved. Take a little time to heal. Remember to breathe. Oh, Dana. Actually, one of our neighbors has chickens, and she brings us eggs. And they're awfully good. Take time to heal. Take time to renew. Life will show you what when the time is appropriate. It's like getting your sea. It's like getting off a boat. You know, it takes you a while when you get on the boat to get your sea legs, and we've all been through that. But then when you get off the boat, now you have sea legs, and the ground feels weird, feels funny. Your balance is off. And I think that's where most of us are now. We've stepped off the boat, and the ground doesn't feel familiar. But it will. And you will be called. I'm going to shoot you all. What a pygmy goat. Okay. I think we all have a little PTSD too. Oh, mercy. Try to be serious with this group. We do. We do all have a little bit of PTSD. We've been dodging bullets all year. So just acknowledge that. You know, after the fire, my doctor suggested that I go talk to a therapist because I was showing all the symptoms of PTSD. Jumping at the slightest little noise and overreacting to that kind of thing. It's not like me. I don't usually do that. So I saw a therapist a couple of times, and then she fired me. She said I was taking up space somebody else probably needed, and she didn't think I did anymore. But I asked her at the time if it'd be okay to come back and just visit with her every once in a while, because that was a good thing, you know. And then after the fire, the flood, and after the flood, the earthquake, and after the earthquake, it's biblical, isn't it? Life. Life is a spiritual exercise. That's what it says on the bracelet. And it is. We always have the opportunity, especially I think when we're feeling strongly about something, negative or positive, doesn't matter, but we're feeling strongly about something, to stop and remember that life is a spiritual exercise, and what is the spiritual response that is required here. Yeah, I read Seth this morning too. It was good, wasn't it? Read what Heidi has written. It's yeah. Well, Dana says psychological tune-ups are always good, and isn't that kind of what we do too on Sundays and Wednesdays? It's a spiritual tune-up. Just to remember that we're not in this alone. We are with God, always. And we have each other. That's pretty powerful stuff. So as long as we have each other, and as long as there are two or more of us gathered here, let's take a moment and pray, shall we? And just close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. If not, just soft focus. Whatever is good for you. And breathe. When we get excited, positively or negatively, we often forget to breathe. Let's breathe. Let's breathe together. And we breathe in spirit, the breath of life. And we exhale what we no longer need, but which the planet does. And we breathe in love and power and poise and peace. And breathe out anything unlike that. We breathe in truth and joy. And a deeper awareness of the presence of God. And we breathe out anything unlike that. Breathing in now anything in the life of God that we feel we might be lacking. Filling ourselves with that. And breathing out anything unlike that, that does not support the magnificence of our soul. We have come together today to be reminded, and we remember. We have come together today to be empowered, and we feel stronger. We have come together today to laugh, and we have laughed. And we smile even at the memory of that laughter. And today, be we as little children, laughing and playful and confident and filled with imagination and creation and the unlimited world in which a child exists. For we are that, each of us, God's kids. Having inherited all of the divine DNA, we now choose how to use it. Choose our next dream, our next project, our next vision, our next mountain to climb, our next river to cross, our next dream to fulfill. And we know that because the dream, the desire is of God, that nothing will stand in its way. That which we imagine for ourselves and for our world will become a reality, is even now taking form simply because we have claimed it. So let us claim for our world peace, power, understanding, wholeness, healing, and the revealing of the greatest truth of all, that we are one with God. And our hearts are filled with joy, knowing that is true. Today, tomorrow, forever. And we celebrate that and let it be so. And so it is. It's been a great Sunday. Thank you for making my day. Have the most wonderful rest of your weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Bring friends. There's plenty of room here. And we love the company. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your attention.
They'll get a free goat with every person they bring.
I hope you didn't hear that. I'm afraid you did. Goats for sale. Happy Sunday.